Hello.
Hello.
Hello,
Hello,
welcome
everybody.
back.
Apa khabar semua? Hello, welcome. So
Well,
this is what episode is this, Adelina?
Episode 4.
Episode 4. So far, very fast. I'm already
Kan?
in episode 4. Yeah, just like that. Okay.
Love it.
So today we're gonna do something a little bit special because, the thing about this show is that sometimes we'll have guests, sometimes we don't have guests. Okay. So today we're not gonna have any guests because we're gonna focus on talking about personal branding, and the impact of personal branding. So we were like looking into it and say, hey, since Nini is the personal branding guru, just start with Nini, yeah. So that's what
true,
we're going to
true,
be
true.
doing today, right? Betul tak, Reza, right?
Yeah. And she knows a lot about impact, which is part of our topic today. Well, the
Exactly.
main
I,
topic today. Lah.
I have two people bullying me here. I have two people bullying me. So before I go on, right, I will slowly maneuver this conversation. So it is not about me. It is about you people. It is about us learning from all of you. So welcome to Awesomebility on Air, episode number 4. I love the topic for today because it says creating impact through personal branding. Am I right, Adelina? Is that the topic? It
Yes,
is Miss
creating.
Adelina yang set the topic for today, right?
Yes. Well, I gave a
Yeah,
list of topics, but this is the one chosen for today.
Hmm,
exactly.
Yay!
Exactly.
Yay!
Okay.
Yay!
Uh,
Okay. So I just wanna say this, right? Amin cakap I am a personal branding guru, which I am not. I am still learning, but I am a practicing personal branding coach and consultant, right? So I love personal branding, and I love the impact that personal branding brings or create.
mhm.
But I want to say this. Yandaro Al Amin is the founder and also CEO of Popcorn. Yes, I want to talk about personal branding. Yes, I am holding my tongue right now to speak about it. But really, what I am interested to understand from Amin, because if you are watching from LinkedIn right now, Amin have created an authority in LinkedIn, right? And that is very niche, I think. And that is something that he has been working on and he has been building. And I think that it is an awesome strategy. And I think that there are hundreds of you already that have been in a coaching session or in a program or in a training, whatever last session kan with Amin. So I am very, very interested, you can speak more about LinkedIn, but speak all about all the other thoughts that you have about this. So how for you think, how do you think that you are able to create impact from personal branding, or right, impact and personal branding, the correlation of it? What do you think are the key elements for you, or how do you define it? I mean,
Okay. Okay. So this is based on, uh, because I need to put a remark to this. Okay, I am not a master of personal branding. Okay, let me put that first. Okay. Nanti kawan cakap, people will say, I mean, talking about personal branding, but you're not the personal branding person, right? I am not. So I have to put that remark first. There are a lot of other people out there that can talk about personal branding that's better than what I do. But I'm gonna come from an angle of what I understand about what personal branding is. Okay. So my understanding of what personal branding is as simple as this. Is what people say about you when you're not in the room. Right? That's my understanding. Okay. Now, in order for you to be able to do that, the problem with a lot of people out there when it comes to their own interpretation of what people think about them is very different compared to what people think about them. That's the biggest problem people have. Example, if I think I'm like the most charming person in the world, but then the people out there, when you are not in the room, they think that you're the biggest jerk in the room. So that means there's a mismatch in terms of misalignment. Okay, so uh, I focus a lot more on authority building. That's my focus. And for me, if you are in authority building, you are doing sales, you're doing marketing. At the end of the day, the core of it, to make your life easy, if you want to get like real impact in terms of generating leads, getting sales, getting your authority, you're being seen as a subject matter expert, it all starts and begin with personal branding. Am I right to say that? I don't know. That's what I think. Okay. So in order for you to be able to be the subject matter expert and to be seen as the authority, everything starts from the personal branding. And if there is like a systematic approach in terms of how you can actually become the authority figure, it starts with number one, before you do anything, have some form of clarity in terms of who you are serving, what is the pain and problem that people have, what is your voice. So all of those are the clarity part that we do, like understanding your ideal client, right? Understanding your value statement. And once you have done that part, clarity has already been achieved, then you move on to the next step, which is now that I know who you are, what I'm serving, what is my target client or ideal client, what my voice is, my brand guide is there, everything is there, right? Internal, external. Now, how do I actually look into communicating that brand to the people, to my audience, right? So this is the part where you can choose to go either online or offline. That's how I see it. Okay. So kalau you go online, if you decided to go online, what you need to do is first thing you want to do is to focus on some of the platform that's available out there in which you know the target audience and your client is in that specific platform. Like for me, if I want to sell myself, I know that I can relate more to the professionals and corporate people. So I position myself in LinkedIn as a platform. Okay. So if you're looking into consumer market, if you're looking into selling products, right, and you want to talk to different group of people, it could be TikTok for you, it could be Facebook for you. So it's also all about understanding which platform will serve you better, and it's also about understanding what are some of the other available offline platform that you can do for you to be able to distribute and communicate your product, services, and your brand. That's how I see it. Now, if you do that consistently, the results of that, you will be able to be seen as an authority in your industry. So, correct me if I'm wrong there, Nini. What do you think? Okay, I'm going back to you on this because you are the expert when it comes to personal branding. Is that what it is? Oh, Tai Chi balik eh. Very smart eh. Nini's like keeping quiet. She's muted. Come on, Nini, answer the question. I Tai Chi back to her.
Okay, I think she's having some problems with the mic. It's muted.
You're muted, Nini.
No.
Oh
Ada problem tu.
no!
No!
Am I okay now?
No!
Am I okay
Right.
now?
All right,
Well,
now we
yes.
can hear you.
Yay! I don't know why every time it gets unmuted and then it'll mute again. So I think, like I say again, I don't want to call myself masters of personal branding or guru of personal branding. I really don't, right? But that is one of my area of passion, and I think that I have, I am a certified personal branding personnel, but I'm also learning, and I love what Amin shared. Right, I am here today to really learn from Amin as well as Adelina, and also from you. So if you do have any comments, do type in your comments. We are live now on LinkedIn. We are live on YouTube. We are also live on Facebook right now. So I love how you started with clarity. I mean, because I think that is awesome, right? For me, actually, clarity is a superpower, not only in branding, but in life. Because as we know, exactly where I am right now and where do I want to go to, it is just so easy for us to maneuver ourselves, or in the business world, they say that strategy. Kan? I think that knowing what you said just now, knowing which platform that to use, right? That is brilliant, because I think in the world of marketing or in the world of branding, the most rookie mistake an entrepreneur or anyone would do is to think that, oh, my market is everyone. Oh, my market is everywhere, right? So I like that. I like that so much. I mean, so you mentioned just now that you started in LinkedIn because most of your clients are corporate, right? Is that what you say? Or are you looking for people who are in the corporate world? How did you decide? I mean, how did you decide that it was LinkedIn was the place where you would like to create impact? Maybe a little
Okay,
backstory on that.
backstory on that, right? Okay, first thing that I did, ni I would call it a reflection sessions that we did in popcorn as well, right? So all our team member kind of like sit down together, and I think this is a very good exercise, especially if you have a team and you sit down with your team to actually collect data. I think number one that you need to do is to collect data, right? Based on the client that I have personally been serving in the last 20 years, and also the team members as well. So we kind of like have a session with the team to actually take a look back into reality check first. Okay. So the reality check right now is, where are we as a team right now in terms of our network and connections, right? Who do we who can we relate to the most? That's the one thing that I did when I sit down. And one of the things that I did when it comes to the exercise, right, is not only about identifying the people that we want to work with, but we also want to identify the people that we do not want to work with, right? Or the people that we know we will not be able to give any value to them. Okay. So we talk about this. Okay. So some of the people that I know that I will not be able to serve, right? So let's just look into demographic part. I can't speak Mandarin. So definitely Chinese target market will not be mine, right? So I will not be in WeChat. Definitely that's one of it. Yeah. Uh, I will not be able to connect with teenagers. I understand that. Okay. So teenagers is out of the market. You will not be able to see me on TikTok yet. Okay. Because I don't think that I can serve them. So those are the questions that we ask when we brainstorm, we look at data, we look at past data, we look at into who we want to serve. And then from there, we kind of decided to say, hey, you know what? For us, the people that I can really relate with are this demographic, this group of people, right? People who are between 35 to 45 years old. Even that one is a huge range. That's 10-year gap. Because if you understand the process of actually understanding your ideal client, you also need to understand that different group, different age range has different needs, right? The problem that people
Mm-hmm.
have when they are 35 to 40 very different compared to people 40 to 45. So we look into that first, right? Okay, 35 to 40, 45 sounds like a good group. Then we look into demographic. Who do you want to market to? Malaysia group ke, Singapore ke, Indonesia ke? Right now, let's focus our establishment in Malaysia first, right? So for Malaysia, so in a way, what I'm doing in the beginning, what we do in the beginning in Popcorn, we sit down to look into all of this detail in terms of who specifically we want to sell to. Once we understand that, and I think this is a very important process that we do as part of personal branding clarity. Once we understand that, then the next question I'll ask is, okay, now I know that these are the group of people that I want to serve. Which platform out there in which all of these people will be that it's easy for me to access them and I can speak to them, right? So we look into Facebook, not my crowd. LinkedIn, definitely that's where we are. So in the beginning, what we did, we focused on LinkedIn, mainly on LinkedIn, right? And that's how we come into that how we choose a platform and how we define our ideal client. How about you, Nini? What do you do with your team? Hmm.
Nice one. I mean, I just want to point out some excellent key learning there, right? So a lot of what you shared, actually all of what you shared, right, comes under the umbrella of clarity. And again, I say that clarity is a superpower, not only in branding but also in life, right? So the clarity. there are two different segments that I hear you spoke about, which is avatar. So when we speak about client avatar, it is the who, right? It is who are the clients that I would like to serve, or right at the moment, who are the natural audience who are responding to me right now, right? And then what something that is very interesting that you spoke about there. I mean, whether this is the client that I want or not, right? My desirable avatar. Because seriously, guys, as an entrepreneur, I feel that one of the privilege of being an entrepreneur is we get to choose and we get to curate our target audience and who are the people that we want to work with, right? Because memang ada yang buat pening kepala. So buat yang pening kepala, and then Amin is choosing LinkedIn because these people are just the people who are responding to him, the people who they would like to serve, and their desired avatar or target audience, right? So thank you so much for sharing that. I mean, and I think for me, right, that is the most what I mean have just shared is the most fundamental of creating impact in personal branding, clarity, and avatar, because the last thing that we want to be as a business person or any one who would like to build your personal branding, you still need to know who is your avatar, right? All of us have our natural avatar, people who naturally respond to us, people who naturally relate to us, people who naturally, they feel like, oh, she is like me or he is like me, so I like, or that is the person that I aspire to be. Kan? So for me from there, right? I mean, so until for menyenangkan my kerja, so after clarity, kan, I feel that how I create impact from personal branding is the alignment of again we spoke about this many times in the other episodes of
Mm-hmm.
offline and online personal branding.
Mm-hmm.
uh, you mentioned about this just now, that who you portray yourself on social media, who you portray yourself, digitally, virtually, whatever you want to call it. If it is not aligned, right, to who you are when people meet you, would really take away the impact of your personal brand. To be honest, right, I am social media is something that I memang liat betul, something that I struggle to stay consistent in, because I started my journey in personal branding offline. I believe in creating value. I believe in contributing value, and through my community background, right? So for me, is that alignment. Why I feel that is very important. Again, back to what Amin shared just now. Personal branding really is what people say about you when you are not in the room. So I think that personal branding not only something that we use to create impact for ourselves, right? But it is actually a two prong swing. I think that as we come from the mindset of how do I give value first? How do I create value first? How do I create impact first for the people that I would like to serve? After knowing who are the avatar, after knowing where are these people, right? So I create impact first. I give value first, right? And somehow this exercise would contribute to a stronger personal branding. So it's like it's impacting each other, for me. I mean, it's like if I create value first, I give kasih dulu, right? People would be able to have a taste or have a feel of what kind of work that I am able to do, what is my talent, what is my capability, what is my skill, whether or not what I say, what I preach, what I talk about, what I am passionate about is aligned to the value that I am able to create. You know, there are some people, oh, I can do this, I can do that, I can do this. When it comes down to it, right? It's not as not walk the talk lah. Let's put it that way. It's not the same. It's the line. It's very different. So there's no consistency there. So I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say that during lockdown, right? There are so many things that I am thankful about, because of COVID and because of the lockdown. And during those times, it was very difficult, even for me. And I remember asking myself these two questions every day. And I speak a lot about these two questions. I posted it a lot on my social media. Question number one, what is the one thing I am able to do today so that I would be able to rise victoriously post COVID 19? Question number two, what is that one solution I am able to contribute to my community so that I would rise together with my community post COVID 19? Right? I believe that when we create value, when we create impact for people first, it will strengthen our personal brand, and it will also be the kind of personal brand that is very, very sustainable, because there's a lot of track record, there's a lot of result, there's a lot of testimonials that comes with that impact that we are creating. Hence it is creating a very impactful personal brand. So I want to say this also, that last night I was reading this article about how strategies love to work with creative people. Actually, to be exact, why strategies love working with head of creative. It was very specific in that article, simply because when a strategies come in, they are always looking for unconventional solution, right? So when it is unconventional solution, it would be something that is different, it is disruptive maybe, right? It is something that you not often see. So in our journey of communicating this to our target audience, we need to be efficient at it. And of course, the communication and the messaging needs to land, right? And if it is online, right, this needs to be strategic. And when this needs to be strategic, the creative would help us with that. So because Adelina is the uh, Chief of Creative for Ministry of Marketing Asia, this is something that I would like to understand from you, Adelina. So we have this almost on a weekly basis where Nini would come out with this, I don't know, this crazy strategy. I think we should do this. I think we should do that. I'll get a little overexcited over it sometimes, right? And how do you see that, Adelina? You normally, what would happen is you would ask me some questions to get clarity, and then okay, you say can be done. So this is what I'm going to do, and this is something that can be done, right? I can do this. I want to understand your thought process as you listen to solutions, and in building personal brand. It could be also creating impact, and how do you translate that into your creative head? That is something, so that the messaging lands lah kan to the target audience.
Um, yeah, okay. Thanks for that question. Terus macam yang like, I'm being put on the spot. No, but really. So how it works is like you mentioned, strategies. There's a lot of ideas there, and there's a lot of strategy that comes out. And usually, when it comes from a strategy point of view, it becomes all these mumbo jumbo or things that the average person will not be able to to understand and go like, hey, so the job of the creatives, and I think that is why strategists love working with creatives as per the study, is see in doing branding s- there are two terms that I like to bring forward here. One is brand identity, and the other one is brand image. So this was touched on by Amin. So brand identity basically is what you are projecting to the world. So what is the voice of the brand? What is the logo, the imagery, the visuals, all of those things? What are you putting into the brand to create to have this persona, basically the brand persona, right? And then you have brand image, which is what Amin talked about, what people actually perceive of that brand, the perception. So you have an effective personal branding execution would be where these two are aligned. So what you are trying to give, and what the your audience or your customers or clients actually receive or perceive to receive, then that is an effective personal brand execution. So that's what the strategy will come from that. Okay, so strategist or the visionary, the idea person will say, okay, this is the solution that I want to provide. This is the value that I can provide to the clients, to the customers, and then explains that to the creatives. So okay, this is how I want it. Now the creatives, the way it works is so that creatives, that's well, like Nini says, I'll ask clarifying questions. In our day to day, I'll ask clarifying questions to understand more. The more the creative understands about what the strategist, the visionary, or you are trying to convey, what is the message, what is the voice, what is the value that you're trying to convey, the easier it is for the picture to reveal itself. I'd like to say. So for creatives, it's very visual, and it's visual in a way that you see it in your mind, and then translating that into something that is something that everybody else can see as well, to explain a complex a possibly complex strategy or situation or idea into a digestible information, digestible visuals. So it doesn't have to have jargons, it doesn't have to have all of that, but it can be very descriptive, or it will show flow. So it's basically whatever the strategy is thinking but cannot convey. So the creatives will find a way to visualize it and create something where everyone, well, at least the intended avatar, the intended customer or client, would be able to understand and see it as the solution for their problem. So that is the correlation there.
Adelia, I'm curious to know more.
Yes.
Especially because you said just now there's the brand image and the other one is brand identity, right? So
Correct.
there's two different things. Okay.
Yes.
So if I am a newbie at this, I just started my business, right? I have no idea what personal branding is about. Okay, and I heard that personal branding is important. I need to do it. Okay, and the first thing that people always tell me, okay, you need to make sure that your image, everything needs to look good. That's a perception that people have.
Mm-hmm.
What will be the first three steps that I need to do in order to make sure that my brand identity, I've covered the brand identity and brand image. Is there a how to for this? Is there a manual for this? What will be your advice for this?
Okay, there's not necessarily like a brand like a manual for to do it, but I can give a bit of a guide on how to, at least especially for people starting out, right? Like, oh my god, how do I do this? Personal branding important, but I don't know how to do, right? So the first thing is to do a little bit of research. It doesn't have to be like too extensive at the beginning, but do a little bit of research in terms of who are your comparable other comparable brands or companies, people who have similar avatars as you, and then look at how they are projecting, what is the response that they're getting, and see which part of that aligns with what you are giving out. So it's a balance of looking at what others are already offering, sort of like competition analysis a little bit. So looking at what they have, what is working, and finding a way to emulate that, but in line with your views, in line with um, your values or your solutions. So that's number one, to look at that. Secondly, also, is to just try it first. So now that you've done your research, go ahead and execute, because it's okay. You can evolve, you can improve on your personal brand. The more, once you do it, you'll start receiving more information for you to be able to expand and improve on the brand that you're working on, your personal brand. So maybe at first, like, oh, this thing is not working. It's okay to try. It's okay to try, and at least you gather more information that can be used to make future decisions on what
Okay.
your brand is. So those two especially. And number three, ask your customers. So you can put it, if you're on social media, you can go on stories or put a post and ask like a this or that, or what is important to you. And even especially when you're starting out, so you may not have a big following, feel free to also share that to your personal
Mm.
socials, so that it also pulls them there. Oh, okay, this is what this person's doing. Oh, and then can give feedback on, you can get feedback from your personal circle, and maybe they'll share. So it's those are the three things I think that would help, especially when you're just starting out.
Okay. So first thing, look for someone that you can copy in a way,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Right. So
That's
you
market
become
research.
you do the market
Exactly.
research, copy first, and then you execute first. They want important because a lot of people they plan, and then nothing happens,
Very true.
right? And then from there, once you have execute, you got all the data and all that, then you fine tune it.
Hmm.
So in a way, it's not a one night thing, right? It's like
It's not a one
it's a
night thing. No.
yeah, it's a continuous evolution. Kind of like reminded
Correct.
me of when we first started in popcorn.
Mm.
I remember this really well. When we first started, right? We don't know what we wanted to do. Honest truth. The only problem that we wanted to handle at that time was we do not know how to use social media. We want to learn how to do it. We are not the subject matter expert. But what we are very good at is that we can get subject matter expert to speak in our event. Truthfully, guys, that was the first thing that we know what to do 5 years ago, right? So what we did after that
Mm,
was that we start organizing event, and from that event we start to find oh, this is what people are doing at this moment, right? I see. Then we start doing research outside, look into some event and conference that's already happening outside of the country, right? We look into US. That's the first thing that we did.
Mm.
Okay. uh, so what if we do this concept here, right? But we fine tune it to become something that's a bit local. So we start doing that. Then in the beginning, it was all social media platform. Then we start to streamline. Then we focus on LinkedIn. So that took us at least about 2 to 3 years. I don't know if Nini is going through that process as well. For Ministry.
But yeah, but it's
Yeah,
exactly what you said. I mean, you start,
yeah,
it's not necessarily copy, but you're getting inspiration from your people that like where you want to be, basically.
right,
So you're just getting
right,
inspiration from there, and then localizing it or aligning it with what you are offering.
right.
And then, like what you did, you just, you streamline it, you learn in the process of doing, and then finally
Right.
get to, okay, this is exactly where I need to be.
mm, mm.
Good stuff. Good
I
stuff.
think that is awesome, right? I mean, I know just now you, oh, I don't know whether you need to kau dah, I mean kau banyak tahu cita to me today. Okay. Tapi tak apa. But there is I think for me, right? I'm gonna take an example because I do have a recent example, kan. So in 2018, I had to relocate back to Kuala Lumpur. Okay, so that is 2018, and that was in the plan already. So I was back in Sabah for like 7 years, and I was kind of nervous, to go back from a small city, Kota Kinabalu, and I need to relocate back to the capital of Malaysia. And I just know that the game will be a different level, the playground, the people, everything would be different. So if I were to go back what I said about creating value, creating impact first, because that will be a sustainable tool or sustainable route to go. This is based on my experience, and I've done this, I think, a couple of times. So for me, it is a proven journey. So 2018, I relocated back to KL. But what people didn't see, or maybe it wasn't really obvious, in 2017, I think I spent a lot of money to travel back to Kuala Lumpur, right? To travel back to KL. What I did was I strategically planned on how I am able to contribute to the entrepreneurship ecosystem um, in KL. So I did a lot of speaking engagement. I offered myself to do coaching. I did so many things, right? Just to build my presence back in Kuala Lumpur. That's exactly what I did. And then after that, when I came to KL in 2018, I had ready clients already. I had ready
Mm.
clients already. And then 1 year later, right? I 1 year later, I got my first award, right? I got my first Malaysia's Women Leaders Award for 2019. So
Mm.
that was kind of cool, right? That was kind of cool because it just proved to me that what I needed to do is to really create impact. So it didn't really stop in 2017, and in 2018, the first thing I did was to launch a community, right, around the women and entrepreneurship ecosystem. And that's exactly what I did since pre coming relocating back to KL, and during the first quarter or the first year of being back in KL, all I did was create impact. I mean, so for me, is that. Mm-mm. But based on what Adelina said just now, something that I would like to really ask you. So the thing about LinkedIn, right? Um, Creating impact in LinkedIn, there is this thing that people, I think, would always struggle on, because I've heard questions, I've seen posting about it. Whether or not a founder should speak about their life, right? Because as they speak about their life, it will contribute to a certain element of their personal branding,
Mm.
really, because people are struggling with the alignment of their personal brand as a business founder, and how that branding alignment works. You know, am I supposed to speak about my personal life, on LinkedIn, because it
Mm.
has nothing to do with my business branding? But if I do, then how do I have this alignment? And I
Mm.
think that's impact too. I mean, because if what I speak would bring down my business instead of creating impact for my business, which naturally would create impact to my audience, right? My business audience or my personal audience, then I need to find an alignment there. What's your thought about it?
Okay. So my thought on this is, um, first thing first, and when it comes to personal, when you want to talk about your personal life, um, I'll talk about the impact first. Why does it matter? Because for me, once I understand the benefit of it, then I start to realize, actually, the benefit always overcome. Uh, you know, there's more benefit towards it compared to all the negative stuff. Okay. Now, when you put yourself out there, it can be very challenging for you, especially for those introverts who are not very okay with putting themselves out there, right out in the open. Okay. Of course, there's always this aspect of people will judge you, people will evaluate you, right? You will be in the eyes of the public opinion. I mean, that's one of the price that you have to pay the moment you
Mm,
decided that you want to put yourself out there. Okay, and that's normal. And I think that comes with the territory, lah. Yeah. But I always look at it from this angle. Yeah? If you are true to yourself, you're very authentic. There's nothing to hide. And people today are very sophisticated clients. They are very sophisticated customers. Okay, the consumer today is not like how they were in the 1980s, right? Um, so what people are looking for today, because they are smarter, because there's just too many information out there. For me to get insights about personal branding, I don't really need to sit down for the next 45 minutes to listen to Nini, Adelina, and Amin to talk about personal branding because I can just Google it out, right? And I can find the information there.
No,
But
but
what
still
gets
watch it.
people, but they're still, so we, like, Dr. Dr. Zai is here, Mike is here, personal
Yeah.
friend. Hi guys, good to see you guys here.
Hello.
But what gets all of these people to want to come and watch this session, right? Because of the relationship that was built because of that personal aspect that you put out there, right? So the thing about people today, if I want to do business with someone, I want to know that this person, in terms of value, it suits my value, right? In terms of personality, it's perhaps we can fine tune and we have the same frequency in terms of personality. Yeah.
Mm, mm.
How do we find that alignment? Well, by just being vulnerable and put ourselves out there. So there will be time that you want to share about your personal stuff. Okay. But that's what people would like to hear because they want to know that I'm dealing with another human being rather than just some package or robot that's been put out in such a way that when you look into that person and say, this one doesn't seem to be real. Something is missing here. I want to engage. Client today wants to engage with another person that they can connect with, right? Someone that I can relate with, someone that I can connect with. So, of course, definitely, there are certain aspect that you would want to, you decide. The good thing about this is that you can decide in terms of how much boundaries you want to set in terms of your sharing. So a lot of the misconception that people have is that, oh, I need to share everything. You don't need to lah, yeah. You decide
My
if you want
deepest,
to.
darkest secret.
Yeah, your deepest darkest secret and all that. No, you don't need to. You decide as an individual in terms of your boundary. But I think rather than looking into sharing about my deepest darkest secret, maybe the focus should be shifted towards, hey, I want to share my thoughts, my original thoughts, my real point of view about certain things, and I want to share it in the most and authentic way possible. And here's the thing about sharing the most authentic thing about you. Not everybody will like you, but the good news about it is that when you share that, you will definitely be able to target the people that would like you. I would rather focus my energy on that group of people. Right? Does this make sense? I don't know. I'm just like this is what I think about sharing your personal stuff and all that. Makes sense, not?
Mhm.
Okay,
Makes
I don't know, guys.
sense.
If this makes sense. Okay, cool. Adina, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, for me, a lot of times, when we look at brands, if there's no human behind it, then you're like, oh yeah, it's a brand, it's a business, it's about money,
Mm,
right? But I feel like, and we've touched base on this sort of alignment in a previous episode, where um what as a person, when you're sharing your personal day to day or things that you're doing that's not very like, oh, selling a business or anything like that, it definitely humanizes you, humanizes the business, puts a face behind the business. And I think especially when you're talking about impact and cause, right, that when you're sharing personal, it also shares how much you are aligned with your business. And it also shares, in my opinion, it also shares, um, like, how when people look at the solutions that you're offering, that it ties in with, oh, it is actually practical in real life, or this person is doing it in real life. Say for instance, if you do, like for me and Nini, we do like a momentum planning, right? And then even in a business where we will push, say we will introduce momentum planning. But when you share, it's like, hey, I'm grateful about this and this and this today, or having a, taking a break, looking after myself, and this is my win for today. So that is also introducing that. Yeah, I really believe in what I'm that in what solution that I'm providing, or I'm really doing this in day to day, and I'm sharing it with you on how, on a personal level, I'm doing this. This is not just a business for me, but it's my life. So I think in there is also, and your thoughts show more personality about who you are, the kind of person that you are, how you're thinking, and then that really helps, in my opinion, for people to see that, oh yeah, this person thinks like me. So you mentioned this also, that this person thinks like me, this person has the similar beliefs to me, and that really helps in strengthening the brand, with the personal brand as well as your business brand. So that alignment is very um, essential to really bring that human factor to your brand.
Yeah.
And
It's not just
And
like
Adelina,
creating
yeah.
image.
I mean, you wanted to
Yes.
ask Adelina something. You ask first, then I ask. Nah, ada dua soalan kepada you, Adelina.
Oh,
Silakan ibu,
gimana?
silakan tanya. Go ahead,
Okay,
go ahead.
silakan tanya. Okay, and what you have just said there, right, Adelina, that can be curated through creative visuals and media, right?
Correct. Correct.
So that the message ends, pula, the
Len.
message lands, right, properly. Sorry, guys, a little bit here. So that the
No.
message lands, right? And how is that done quickly before we wrap up?
Mhm.
Mm,
Oh, okay.
Adeline.
Sorry. Yeah, so yes, so in visuals, right? So when we're delivering the message, it doesn't have to, sometimes when people share, and then you're like, oh yeah, temberang niya. Or, or, I mean, I'm sure we've all seen those kind of things. So that's not necessarily what we mean when we talk about, sharing your personal day to day and all these things in regards to personal branding. But sharing visuals, like it could be a photo, it could be a video, or even maybe you found a quote, or you found some, you wanted to share some information, like okay, here's three things that I learned today. uh, I went to wherever, and there is three things I learned today I thought I wanted to share. So it could be as simple as that, but it's just um, what is it that you want to share with people. And I mean, talked about boundaries, it's very true. Whether you're, extrovert, introvert, you can set your own boundaries. It doesn't mean that this person, you see someone sharing it, all these things, and you're like, I'm not comfortable in sharing that, I don't want to do this. No, you said, like for instance, something very simple is, if I go traveling, I will only post later on, because for me, I value my safety, my privacy. So
Mhm.
but the content that you want to deliver is still there. Okay, here, went here, here's a beautiful sight, or here's a thought that came, or I saw a signboard where when I was traveling, that made me think about this. So you can share so many different things that are personal to you, but are not necessarily like personal, like, things like that. Or if if people like me, like, oh, this is what I'm eating today, is also fine. It shows, you can even link that to say, I'm doing this because I've started on like a self-care journey, or something like that. So if it ties in with the brand that you are, or the brand that you're representing, like a business brand, then you can actually use that to tie in. So like for because a brand is, I think I like to put this out there, is the brand evolves. It's not set in stone. Your brand 3 years ago, 5 years ago is different from your brand today. So allow for that evolution, and don't be afraid of the evolution. Is it really helps, because your clients, your customers, your audience are also growing with you. So
Mm.
the whatever connection that you have made before, they're also growing with you, and then they're sharing. they're sharing your experience and understanding who you are. So that's why we see brands and or we see people who have a very strong personal brand, even though you've never met them before, you've never spoken to them, you may never even meet them, but yet you feel like you understand them, you feel like you can align with them or you're connected to them. So that's basically the impact that can be created through personal branding.
Nice, 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 nice. Good stuff.
Nice one.
By the way, just want to be concerned, be
With
thoughtful
our
of timing.
time.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
You can
Right.
see
I
how
think
let's.
it's time
passionate
for us
we
to
are
wrap
about
up
this
now.
topic.
I mean,
Uh, yeah, time to
yeah.
wrap up ni. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Time to wrap
let's
up,
do this.
right?
Yeah, let's just do this just to wrap up, right?
Yeah.
One advice from everyone when it comes to creating impact for personal brand. I think
Okay.
we start with yeah. Go ahead.
Before we do that, right? I mean, something that I want to point out before we give that tips, kan, is that if you are watching right now, you will see the flow from Amin to me and also to Adelina, right? So the flow is from Amin just now was clarity, and then clarity about who is your avatar and clarity about platforms or channels of distribution, right? And then it went to me, where I spoke a lot about creating value and creating impact, especially to your audience, because you already know from clarity ma who is your avatar, right? And then
Right.
after that we move on to Adelina, which is the how can we be creative in putting out this content, right? This value, so that people are able to relate to it, or how the message would land. So let's start with you lah. I mean, first the clarity part. What is that one thing that people are able to do so that they are able to be clear, and then you can pass to me.
Okay. So number one exercise to do. Okay. Identify your ideal client avatar. That's number one, right? Because this one process is one of the most important fundamental process that you need to do, not just in personal branding, but in terms it helps you with many things in your business. From your sales effort, your lead generation effort, your marketing effort. That is like the foundation of things that you need to start. So when you look into your ideal client, there are a few aspects they want to take a look into. Number one is the physical aspect on things, the demographic, who you're targeting specifically, right? Once that one is done, then you want to go deeper into understanding the challenges, the pain, the problem that your clients have, and then what kind of solution and value that you can help to create for those clients, right? So step number one, in terms of clarity, because there's a lot of other processes, but if you only have time to do one activity, at least spend time to do that, right? Then I'm gonna pass to Nini. Nini, next step for you. What do we need to do?
Okay, so from you, I mean, I like it that you started with avatar. So when you know who is your avatar already and who is the people that you would like to serve, right? I think for me, how to create value is number one is to identify, to go out there to learn from this avatar. What are their challenges? And
Mm,
the challenges that they are facing right at any current moment, and then from those challenges, then you could then identify what is the solution that you are able to contribute, kan.
mm,
How are you able to create impact? How are you able to give value? Identify that solution, because you don't wanna because you know your business, right? You know your business. Of course, this value, the solution needs to be aligned with what you have to offer as well. And then of course, be purposeful about it. So there was number one. Number two, number three is to be purposeful and to be strategic about it. I know that many people would say when you create value, when you contribute, you don't really need to expect anything in return. But you are doing business, my friend. So you need to be strategic about it. The business world is all about win-win. As entrepreneur, we identify challenges, right? And we provide solution, and in return, we get money. Kan? So that is a transaction, and the idea is how to be purposeful about the value that you are creating and how that could contribute to your personal branding, and also have an integrity profit from it. So over to you, Adelina.
Wow, that's a lot of tips. Now, how do I follow that? No, just for creative creating the impact, right? It's sometimes people go and look at things, and you know, when you talk about visuals or photo, image, videos, that it needs to look a certain way, and that always stops people from producing or sending out the message and producing the content that needs to go out, right? So as we mentioned earlier, just do it first, then you can improve upon it. You in the process, definitely you'll be able to discover more things about what you do, more things about yourself, more things about the values that and solutions that you can offer. So for me, it's very simple. Just do it. Back in the days when I wanted to be a YouTuber, right? When it was a big thing, I wanted to get, like, the right laptop, the right equipment, camera, lighting, everything, microphone. So getting the equipment doesn't actually create the content. You are the content. You can be a phone, you just need it quickly on your phone and put it out is much, much better. And you'll get more information about how to move forward in your personal branding, how to move forward in your brand, and how you are impacting your ideal avatar, how you are impacting your community. So for me, just do it. Over to you, Amin.
There you go, guys. Okay, that's a valuable 1 hour, almost 1 hour, right? We have 3 more minutes before we go. So before we leave, I just want to, since we are talking about personal branding today, right? So I would like to invite each and every one of you who are watching our session tonight today. Guys, we have like a free personal brand discovery worksheet, right? For you to download. So go to HTTP Ministry of Marketing Asia /Awesomebility, and you'll be able to download that. And at the same time, we would also like to invite you guys to join our Awesomebility Circle of Telegram, Awesomebility Circle in our Telegram group. So come and join that as well. So with that, uh, we'll be live again next week, when ini same time,
Yep.
same day, right? The thing is, just do a quick heads up. I will be in India that week, so expect some changes. I will still be going live,
It'll be a different
right?
background.
It'll be a different. Whatever it is, I'll see you again next week, right?
See you
So with
again next
that,
week. Check out the
bye,
comment for
guys.
link. Okay? Bye.
Yes, bye.
Bye.